Hey friends, welcome. Thank you for being here with me. I am Sara-Jane Gage and I am CEO of Gage Fitness DC. I am a functional fitness trainer and a Kripalu yoga instructor, and I am excited to be here with you for this new series called Running 101. And this segment in particular is called Why Run? Because why? If we don't have any inkling of why running may be beneficial to us or not, then why would we ever feel so inclined to explore it? So let's talk about that. Running, in my experience, as someone who has had a love-hate relationship with running over many, many years, I suspect that people don't enjoy running to begin with because it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. It is a physical and mental practice, much like our yoga practice. There is a lot of mental work to be done to get through some of the discomfort of feeling into a run, of feeling into the natural sorts of aches or pains or feelings that you experience as a new runner. And there is even a phenomena, so to speak, in the running world that we joke about, where we say the first mile is a liar. Because what most of us find is that no matter how experienced you get in running, how many races and training runs you've done, that first mile is still that very mental, physical experience of feeling into the body, of getting into the groove and finding how it works for you. And let's face it, you guys know, especially if you do yoga with me, not everybody can feel through the discomfort. They can't sit with the discomfort. We naturally as humans want to be comfortable, and so we flee from discomfort unless we know a really good motivation to stick with it. So why stick with running when it does get uncomfortable, when it does get hard and the mind is saying, I don't want to do this, why are we doing this, this sucks. That's what mine sounds like. Why do we do it then? Running, the benefits of running are that it's another way to challenge our bodies. And there's a lot of variety in running, a lot of different ways within the scope of running that we can challenge ourselves. But it comes down to our body adapts to challenges. And so that's why we challenge ourselves, guys. That's why we do exercise. That's why we do yoga. That's why we run. Our body adapts to challenges. And some of the things that happen that our body adapts to as we're running is we're strengthening our bones, joints, and ligaments. Because with that repeated impact, that repeated pattern and movement of running, our body has to adapt to accommodate that. And so our bones are strengthening. You'll notice in a lot of studies that, this is so funny, that longtime runners have decreased osteoarthritis rates. And that's contrary to what a lot of people believe, because the first thing you usually hear, one of the biggest myths with running, is that it's bad for your knees. That's based on one study, FYI, and I won't get off on a tangent. It's based on one study that they used a very specific piece of that research to manipulate and scare people. And that brings me to my next point. A lot of what holds people back in running and in exercise and movement in general is fear. Somewhere along the way, we've been taught to fear our bodies, to fear hurting ourselves, to fear what our body can or can't do. And it's blasphemy. That is the nicest way that I can say that. Our bodies are meant to be moved. They're meant to be explored into. They're meant to be experienced. And so how do you do that? You push it. You challenge it. You force it to adapt to new things, to give it the opportunity to strengthen. to continue adapting, to get better and progress in whatever you're doing. And so in a real practical way, one of the things you'll notice with running is it significantly improves our functional balance, particularly if you are willing and able to switch up your running surfaces frequently. So for example, in a practical sense, that might mean I run on the street when it's available. I switch to the sidewalk. I switch to the shoulder. Maybe there's a dirt off-ramp area. I switch to the dirt. I switch to the grass. I switch to a bike lane, etc. And not as quickly as I just said it, of course, but meaning the opportunity when it presents itself on your run to switch your terrain, take that, do that. Because one, it's going to force you to, again, adapt. Your body is going to adapt and strengthen to create that functional balance, which is so important. But that also is a different experience of a run. So a low intensity, steady state run, for example, just running on a road, can be kind of mindless. And there's benefit in that. That feels really good some days. You can just get in the groove and not really think about it, enjoy your tunes or podcast or whatever, right? But if we switch it up and now we're trail running, for example, or running on the side of the road where maybe there's debris or things we have to look for, that's a different sort of run. That is a very mindful, intentional run where you are in the moment because you have to be. If you're not looking down, if you're not paying attention to your surfaces and what you're stepping on, you don't have the opportunity to compensate and adapt accordingly, and now there's risk of injury, right? So you see the two differences there with types of runs as well. It can be very mindless and just going with the flow. We'll get there, going with the flow, mental note. It can also be very intentional, very in the moment, very connected, very with your experience. So there's a lot of flexibility in your mental and physical practice with running, which brings me to my next point. The more I run, the older I get, the more I get out of my own way, quite frankly. I have learned that that running is much like my yoga practice. Meaning it is an experience that I need to feel into. It's something that I, for me, have to flow with. The times that I am stuck, if I'm really rigid, if I'm set on a goal and I'm working hard and I'm very adamant about how my training has to be and I have a plan and I have all of these things, that's when I hate running. That's when it's miserable and my motivation is out the window and I am dragging my ass from mile 1 to mile whatever. Because it stops being about the practice and the experience and it becomes about that end point only. And so I lose the joy of the journey, if that makes sense. The times that I've let go of that goal, or let me rephrase, the times that I've let go of the goal, either for that specific moment or perhaps the bigger goal, so meaning, am I running for time? I need to get under a 10-minute mile. Why? Why do I think I need to do that? Why do we think we need to do these things? But those times where I let go of that goal, and instead the goal became about the experience, to just have fun, to just see what I can see. These are literal goals that I've had in mind as I've gone out running lately. To see how many different types of flowers I can find. To see how many people I can say hello to see how far I can get. To see if I can maintain a conversation. Those are different sorts of goals. Those are about the experience. They're about the practice, about the journey, about the process, as opposed to the end goal. And while an end goal is important and useful in many ways, it's a tool, it's a technique, it's something we can utilize. The reality is the journey is so much more of our time and energy. And so shouldn't we focus on enjoyment of the journey, whether it's in running or anything else? Well, That's where I'm at in life. And so what I would encourage you, friends, to take away from this running 101 segment is to feel into it. Remember that running is as natural as breathing. How you run, how you breathe, it should feel natural. Don't get caught up in these running coaches and influencers about 90-degree angle and swift back and forth and chest up and shoulder back. Let all of that crap go. All of it. Forget every running advice you've ever heard until you started listening to me 10 minutes ago. That stuff is good. I might be biased. Let go of all that real technical running stuff. And instead, next time you go out the door and you say, I'm going to go for a run, just go. Just feel into it. Just experience it. That's the only goal the next time you go. Just feel it. Just feel it and go with the flow. Don't resist. Don't try to control it. Don't judge it. Don't label it as good or bad. Don't label it as I should have done this and I was supposed to do that and I should have gone here. I should have done that mileage. I should have done that time. Let the bullshit go. And instead, just go with the flow. Run, breathe, feel into it. Notice the sights, notice the scents. Smile and have fun. The rest will come naturally when you remember to just get out of your own way and do what's natural. Till next time, friends. Be safe, be kind, continue choosing to be well. Get out there and run. Have some fun.